So you never know what you're gonna get. Here, hold this thing. These are all. Oh god! Oh god!
No, it's cool. I like this.
My toy cluster. Here's my. Look at this. You can open it.
It opens.
Little VHS. Yo, what the? Video home system.
Incredible.
We're looking at my toy cluster.
Oh, this is already recording. Hi.
Yeah, I just sneak it up on you.
Cool.
We're looking at my toy cluster. This is a little Lego person.
Lego man.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Pink Ranger. I've got a little TARDIS in here somewhere.
I saw it in a picture. There it is. You got Beast.
Yeah. Shazam's brother character. Did you see Shazam?
I didn't.
Do you are you vehemently not a DC person?
Oh no. I am. My dad loves Batman a lot, so my only dealings with DC is things that I would put up for my dad.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So wait, so then you do like DC or you don't? You only deal
I don't.
With DC
I only deal with it because my dad likes it. So
and you don't want to tear apart a family.
Right. And like I like the Marvel stuff, but he also likes the Marvel stuff. I'm trying to get him on board with the Hawkeye stuff, but
he's got good taste.
Yeah. He every time he sees something Captain America, he grabs it for me. He's good about that.
That's sweet.
And like every time we go like thrift stores or like comic shops, record shops, he's always like, do you have anything Hawkeye? My daughter likes Hawkeye. And they're like, yeah, we have stuff.
Really?
And then
I'm so sorry that happens too.
And they're always like, no, we don't. I'm sorry. It's just
they
like,
don't make
all right.
Hawkeye toys. How do I say your last name, by the way?
Licciardello. Licc. It makes the
Licciardello?
Yeah.
Licciardello. I don't think you've ever said that, ever.
No, I think you just skipped right over it.
I said your first name.
You did.
And then I had it written down where I needed it written down. So you just pointed.
Because I was always in the same chair.
Yeah.
That was my seat.
You know what? Staying in the same chair is so key to good participation grade. Every single film class in that building. That's your chair. That was my chair. That's your jam.
Yeah.
I was like that when I was a film student. I was like, this is where I go.
All the way to the right, but not at the left-handed desk because I don't know why. I've been trained to use right-handed desks, I guess, but I'm left-handed, so who knows?
So you're left-handed and you like Hawkeye. So I'm not saying there's a connection between the two. All right, so let's get this thing started right. This is Pop Culture Man Children, PCMC. I'm Mike Bongiorno. I'm here today with Melissa Licciardello.
Licciardello, there you go.
Fantastic for you to be here. Now, you used to be a student of mine before you graduated. You're also a rock star.
Hell yeah.
You're in a band called At the Ready.
I am.
At the Ready. Where is your stuff available?
Everywhere. Spotify, Bandcamp, atthereadyband.com should get you everywhere. Haha, that's a plug.
And also At the Ready on Instagram, right?
At the Ready Band on Instagram.
At the Ready Band. Someone already had At the Ready?
Yeah, but we're at symbol.
Yeah.
The Ready Band on Twitter because
nice.
I think I'm clever.
No, that's great. What does At the Ready mean? I thought it was always at.
It's like you're like at a ready stance, you're ready to go. For funsies, we had a cover band for a little bit called the Never Readies because I'm never ready for band practice. So
sure.
Or anything really.
Well, you're the singer, right?
Yeah.
So you're like the diva. You're the one that everyone's like, she's late again.
I play guitar as well, and I also have once completely loaded in and set up a drum set.
Whoa.
For my drummer.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's amazing, and I'm proud of you. So,
listen, it was once. That means that I'm good forever,
but you
right?
did it. Yeah. No, to be a drummer is a real pain in life because it's like you have to come with a fucking room of stuff.
Yeah. I'm trying to get him to teach me, but I also am not ready to one day have to lug all that stuff around. Actually, I'm not ready to pay for it because that's expensive.
Really?
Yeah. Like the cost of his cymbals, like some of those cymbals cost half of what a guitar costs.
What?
Yeah.
But you just go bang on them.
Yeah, you go bang on them. Yeah.
If you're doing a little jazzy number.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
you're gonna hate that while editing later.
No, why?
But
The popular
You're welcome.
piece? No, that's all right. So I've known you for I don't know how long. A couple years.
6 or so.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, right? You're so old now. You were just a baby. No, you were in one of my... What class was it?
I think I was in 2 of your film histories. I was in a film history and something else. I don't know. I learned stuff. We watched the Star Wars trailer.
Force Awakens.
I think it was The Force Awakens. I can't remember if it was The Force Awakens
or
Rogue. Yeah.
Okay. But you were always a good student. And I always thought you were a good student. And
He's just saying this because he has to.
No, it's true. Of the thousands of students I've had over my, I guess I've been doing it 9 or 10 years, you're definitely like top 10 of good people and smart. I've seen you go on and do things. But there's a problem with you, which is why you're here today.
Yeah, I'm the only person who would say, hey, let's do a podcast about...
Hawkeye. So while you're hearing this, Avengers Endgame just came out. But don't worry, there'll be no spoilers for that because we are recording it ahead of time. So we don't know what happens. I hope that he dies and it's a very long, painful scene where we watch him die. But I'm pretty sure he won't because he's got a Disney Plus show coming.
I could only give you a face.
She's very hurt by what I said. Unless the Disney Plus show takes place before and he does die a painful death.
Wow. No,
I'm coming at you hard.
It's okay because I'm very ready. I don't want his family to live. I want his family to just get obliterated.
What's wrong with what's her name? Velma.
Yeah, Velma. That's all I got.
She was also on Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah,
and ER the last couple years. What's her name?
I don't know, but I like the Hawkeye as a sad, lonely bachelor in Bushwick, owning his little building, helping people out. I like the Matt Fraction version.
Okay.
His family,
they hold him back, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at least in the movies,
they're like, oh, he's not here because he's with his family, and it's like, you know what? That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah. But you know what? He sucks anyway. All right. Here's the thing. You're so angry when I say it. I'm coming at you hard, but you know this is a place of love. Pop Culture Man Show is all about love. But I do. So here's the thing. Most people at least make fun of Hawkeye a little bit.
Yeah, they do.
Because of all the Avengers, he didn't have a standalone movie. He doesn't have any powers, really. Maybe you could argue that in a second.
He's misunderstood.
He basically is an archer.
Yeah.
But he's good at it, okay? So he's sort of the...
world's best marksman.
Yeah, sure. He's the Katniss Everdeen of the Avenger world. And, but you are somebody who loves him. I actually saw on Facebook, I think how this started was on Facebook, you had posted some, like, maybe it was toys or maybe it was like a kid's party, like, plastic plate of, like, the Avengers, and you were like, why don't they ever have Hawkeye as a thing?
It's a running thing that I do on social media. I actually made it an Instagram highlight recently, but I deleted it because I realized how upsetting it was to me that the only highlight that I ever wanted to do on my Instagram was how often I run into the Avengers without Hawkeye.
And this triggers you.
It triggers me because I went to fucking Disney World. Am I allowed to curse on this?
Yeah.
Cool. I went to fucking Disney in Orlando, and I was like, ooh, they have a whole Marvel store. And I see a bow across the way, and I'm like, oh, man, look at that bow. And I walked up to it and it said Thanos on it. And I'm like,
wait, that's it? What?
Yeah. It was Thanos' bow. And
When
I'm
does
like,
he have a bow?
excuse me? So I looked around the entire store. I'm like, listen, they have a bow in here. They have to have something. So I'm walking around the entire place and I'm just like, damn, really nothing. I'm like, they have like a little Ant-Man thing. And I'm like, can't even do this man justice. And then in the very corner, I see a penny press. And there's Comic Sans, and I'm going through the menu, and it's all written in Comic Sans, and I'm just like, fuck, I see him right there, Hawkeye. So for $1.99 per penny, I bought 2 pennies, because that's exactly what I had in my pocket.
Do you carry those with you? Do you have them on you right now?
I had one of them on me. I don't know if I have it on me right now. It might be in another bag.
I have I have this is not really related, but I have an X-Men wallet
Nice.
that I gotta, whenever like I'm someplace and I'm like paying the bill or whatever, I get either looks or compliments.
It depends.
It depends on people like, well, what is that? So
They're like, what kind of gang is this?
yeah.
And you go, X gonna give it to you.
They wish to cure us. I say we are the cure.
I'll send you a picture of it.
Okay, so that's pretty much the saddest story I've ever heard.
Well, yeah.
That's all they had of Hawkeye.
The only thing they had of Hawkeye, and it's in his like original like gross costume. Not to like offend anyone who likes the classic Hawkeye
like purple,
costume,
right?
but like it's awful. It's awful.
Doesn't he? You're not gonna get this because you don't like She-Ra, but his original costume looks a little like Catra from She-Ra.
Yeah, a little bit. I see that.
Bit. She's more purpley in the '80s version. You brought me these really cool She-Ra Netflix pins.
Yeah, I got them at Comic-Con for free because they were just handing them out.
Because they were like, please, somebody take these.
Yeah, and then I had them, and I was like, please, somebody take these.
Well, it made my day.
I'm glad.
So wait, you said there was Ant-Man stuff. What about Black Widow? Was it Black Widow stuff?
There was some Black Widow stuff.
So really it was everybody but
Hawkeye. Literally everyone except for my sweet Clint Barton.
All right, let's go back to the beginning. When did you start liking Hawkeye? When did this love begin?
So it was actually way back when I used to use Tumblr. I was scrolling through my feed, and I used to follow some people who like comic books, and they would just like post occasional like little strips, and every time I would see something and laugh at it, it was always a Hawkeye comic, and I'm like, damn, I relate to that character. Like he's snarky, he is so into coffee, he's not always Brooklyn through and through. It depends on which version you're reading.
Yeah.
But he's just so fucking relatable.
And you're Brooklyn through and through?
I mean, I'm born and raised here. I spent a lot of my summers in Coney Island, which is referenced a lot in his origin story.
Okay. What's his origin story? I bet there are different versions of it. But
Definitely
what's
different
the
versions of it. Abusive dad, parents die in car accident, orphaned with his brother. Then they go to the circus, and yeah, a lot of stuff happens after that depending on what you're reading. So there's a version that I just read where his brother becomes Trickshot. Okay. And that's really fucking cool.
That's a newer comic?
I think it was Blind Spot. So I'm not really sure when that came out, but it was a really good read.
So I feel like you've told me more about him than the Avengers movies have told me about him.
Yeah, the only thing the Avengers movies said about him separately was like that thing that he and Natasha had in, what was it, Budapest?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but what is that?
Yeah, it's very little. He's kind of he even gets less than like Vision and the newer people. Like he's sort of like really screwed over in terms of character development. He's just sort of there with with Black Widow.
Yeah. And what he got, Vision even had like one line that was like, this is how Vision came about, and then Vision just popped up. Yeah. And it's like, at least he had that much. Hawkeye is just there.
Hawkeye is just there.
In the cinematic universe.
For when he's not there.
Except for when he's not.
Infinity War.
And all of a sudden, like, nobody cares about him. They're always just like, oh, let's assemble. And they're like, not even wondering where Clint is. Yeah. Not even a mention.
Well, he retired.
Yeah, sure.
What was the movie, which was it? Age of Ultron or Civil War, where like we go to his like little farmhouse and we see that he's living the domestic life.
I blocked out Age of Ultron so much because I hated it with a passion.
Yeah, I find I didn't hate it. I just was super bored by it, and I was like, "This is unnecessary."
I didn't like the unnecessary relationship. You know the one I'm talking about.
No, which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about Bruce Banner and Natasha Romanoff.
Yeah, why don't you like that?
Man.
Deep sigh.
Just a deep sigh. It's just like, I get it. He's like in need of her or whatever. Yeah, sure. But like...
Look, Liv Tyler has been cut out of the universe. She's gone. Her dad is still around for some reason, but she's gone.
It annoyed me because of all the Avengers that she would have been with. It probably should have been Clint, even if it was for like a brief stint.
Is that a thing that Well, they reference that in the movies, but is that a thing that like has happened elsewhere?
Yeah.
Them together?
They've been like, there was like a fling.
Okay.
Like Hawkeye's kind of been with every woman in the comic book universe. He's been with a lot.
Who's his wife?
She's Mockingbird, isn't she?
I don't know.
I don't know about the cinematic universe.
The cinematic universe, she's just got like this weird like white middle class family out of nowhere.
That's what really annoys me too. I'm just like, he just went home to Becky. Is when he went home to.
Yeah. So that upset you. Okay. That didn't do anything for me because that movie was boring. But I did like in Thor Ragnarok.
That was a good movie.
Right? Because it was basically a Guardians movie. They were like, let's just do Guardians. We don't need that department anymore.
Directed by the same director?
No idea.
Okay.
But in that movie...
Oh, you're the film teacher.
Hey, you know what? Sadly, I don't have all of the IMDb for the Marvel movies memorized.
Got it.
Who did not? Well, no, it's Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi was the director of Thor 3.
Okay, there it is. There's your film knowledge.
He's also the director of the great movie What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, okay.
And that was What We Do in the Shadows TV show.
Yes,
He's also on Mandalorian. See, I know things.
There you go.
So, but when the Hulk is like the Hulk for 3 years or whatever in that movie, he sees like a hologram of Natasha, and that's what brings him back to Bruce. I thought that was a good moment.
It was a good moment, but it could have been anything that brought him back. It could have been like a fucking beaker. Just
well,
glowing.
that would have been very undramatic.
It would have been.
He just remembers being a scientist. And
he's just like, oh, I miss science. I'm going to be a man now.
Yeah, and
not
then
a big angry green thing.
Yeah, and now he can't. Now he's got Hulk. Like erectile dysfunction. He can't Hulk. he tried to Hulk in Infinity War and he can't do it. He can't
Hulk
get it
is
up.
just like, yeah, no thanks. I've seen this battle. I don't want this.
That's
he's the Hawkeye right now. Hulk is Hawkeye.
How so? Wait, how?
He's not showing up for the fights.
Yeah, he's not showing up. But okay, so when the trailer for Endgame came out, were you excited?
I saw my sweet baby and I went, oh my god, he's here. And then I saw him training a young lady in the new one, and I was like, oh my god, that's Kate.
And who's Kate?
Kate Bishop is other Hawkeye. Or just Hawkeye.
She's in the West Coast Avengers, right?
Yes.
With Gwenpool.
Yes, she is.
Okay. That's all I know. Because I love Gwenpool.
She's got like that nice purple like spandexy suit. Yeah.
So... will she replace him, or is she just as well?
I think she's going to replace him when he goes Ronin.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, family dies, he gets upset. And I think it's because of the mandates from Civil War, he wasn't able to pick up Hawkeye again. So he just goes under the name Ronin, and now he has swords.
Ronin is like, isn't historically aren't Ronins like wayward samurais or something like that?
Exactly.
So that's what he is.
That's the swords.
So is that what his Disney Plus show is going to be about?
I think the Disney Plus show is going to be...
Episode 1, his family's burning in a house, and he's like, well, I'm dark now.
Or like he just goes home and it's just a beach. And he's just like, oh man, everything is dust.
Yeah. Where's my axe that I chop wood with?
Yeah.
Oh, it's all burned.
Oh man. I think actually that the show is going to be more centered around Kate is what I'm hoping for. Is like
You're hoping that?
I'm hoping that it's him training Kate, because I also really want to see Disney take a Young Avengers platform.
I don't know what are the Young Avengers? Is that like Muppet Babies?
It's like newer, younger versions of the characters that we love.
Oh, is that like
people who take up their mantle?
Ironheart, right? Is it Ironheart one?
I actually don't know too much about it. All I know is that I would just really like to see a new change of characters.
I think Ironheart is the young female African-American Iron Man, and I think they call her Ironheart, but she wears an Iron Man suit.
Nice. And I know Captain America was recently a young African-American woman. I did not enunciate that at all.
So they're much more... So the young Avengers are much more woke versions... much more diverse versions.
Yeah.
Which I'm all for, because these movies are a little too...
old white men all the time.
Yeah. Did you like Captain Marvel?
I enjoyed Captain Marvel.
The first 20 minutes was like, I don't know what's happening here, what's going on. This movie has no pacing.
Yeah.
And then it gets better.
Yeah.
But I'm excited because I want to see a Miss Marvel movie the Kamala Khan Miss Marvel is. I love her. She's Marvel's first Muslim Pakistani superhero.
Interesting.
She's fantastic, and
I'm
her
here for
comics
it.
are really funny.
I gotta read those.
You'd like them because they posit her like a fangirl first. Like,
Relatable.
before she gets her powers, she writes Avengers fan fiction. But she like lives in a world where there are Avengers, and then she gets her powers. There's a fun issue where she meets Wolverine, and she's like, "Oh my god, I love you. Oh my god, I ship you," and whatever. And he's like,
So she's Deadpool.
kind of, yeah. Exactly. She doesn't. She's very excited at every moment that she's a part of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd like this. She's one of my favorite sort of newer, like, more diverse characters.
Nice.
So there's also, I haven't read this, but there's a Great Lakes Avengers. There's
Like
Avengers.
Midwestern Avengers. Is
There's
that why?
West Coast Avengers, which actually it was in the 70s. I don't know who's in the original team, but they just brought it back, and now it has.
What happens in the Midwest though? Like, why do they need Avengers? What goes wrong in the Midwest?
I don't know. Stuff's got to go wrong when Spider-Man goes to France.
That's not
If
the
Spider-Man,
Midwest.
if only. I know, but I'm thinking about. I'm thinking that there are super villain problems outside of the tri-state area.
I don't know. Jersey's pretty bad. I feel like we need all the Avengers just in Jersey. Just make it better.
Miss Marvel lives in Jersey City.
Nice. That
It's-
makes it better.
I think so because she lives.
In a pineapple under the sea.
That's right. All right. So
Sorry.
No. No. When somebody says she lives, that's what you gotta say. It's like when people say, "Who you gonna call?" It's like, what am I gonna not say? Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
They released.
911 sometimes is the answer.
That's never the answer.
Okay.
You got shot. Call the Ghostbusters. They released some promotional footage for the new Ghostbusters, and the tagline is "You know who to call," and I kind of love that.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think I'm also just over the Ghostbusters thing after there have just been too many remakes in such a small amount of time. It's just like, cool, you did it once. It wasn't so great, apparently. I haven't seen it.
The 2016 one.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's 2016?
Yeah.
It's been that long?
Yeah.
That's still so close, though.
It wasn't that funny.
It's like first Jurassic World, great. Second one,
Disagree entirely.
Really?
I think the second Jurassic World is my second favorite Jurassic Park movie.
Wow.
Because, and you could, if you want to hear more about my opinions, you could look up the Jurassic Park episode on Pop Culture Man Children. Just scroll down. Hey, where do you scroll down? Well, I'm available everywhere.
Boom. Here it is. Here's a plug.
Spotify. Shh, no, I just roll right into it. I slide right into it. They don't know. I'm the king of segues. Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, and of course Stitcher. Yeah,
I can follow you on Apple Podcasts.
So you do?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not going to give you the
I
whole
just don't
spiel.
watch a lot of movies as soon as they come out, so.
It's okay. Look, it's fun for everybody. You know what I mean? Even if the title of the episode isn't something that you know, and I'm talking to the audience as well.
It's a ride.
It's a ride. You got me there. It's tons of fun.
Listen, if anyone clicks on a podcast that says Hawkeye, they're in it for the ride.
Yeah. I imagine that this episode's going to get really a lot of. It's going to be a big bump.
Oh,
It's
great.
Gonna get a lot of people. All right. My thing was this: the original Jurassic Park's great. Every single sequel has just been the same idea, boringly done worse. And then the last one was like, let's do a Planet of the Apes movie. Let's just be like, fuck it. Like, we call it Jurassic World. Let's do that. Let's just be nuts and just, now there are dinosaurs in the world. And I fucking love that.
And we're just going to auction them off.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the end where she opens, spoiler alert, but the little clone girl opens up the
It's like the biggest
cages. Hey, that's what happens. It's like a year old.
Yeah, you're good.
And there's fucking just dinosaurs in the world. I love that. I want to see the new one where there's just like dinosaurs everywhere.
And like they just wrangle them like horses.
Yeah. Somebody asked his director, like, what sense does this make? And he was like, I don't know, like there are lions in the world. Have you seen a lion on your block?
Yeah.
Like there's going to be dinosaurs places.
Not gonna lie, I'd be a little excited if I saw like a little triceratops outside my house.
Oh my god. I'd make a little here's what I would do.
I say little, it's gonna be huge.
Well, how big are they when they first are hatched? Born? Hatched. I'm not good with science. I'm not that kind of nerd.
I don't know.
I would do the ET method and take a bunch of... Well, first I would take a box with a stick and have the box stick scenario. So like...
Just try that first?
Yeah. Because then it'll hit the stick and then, I'm in the box.
Oh,
and then I've got my own Triceratops.
Boom. Nailed it.
But I would use the ET method of Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces is a good method.
Yeah. Because Triceratops love chocolate and peanut. Everyone loves chocolate and
Everyone
peanut
loves
butter.
chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even aliens.
Yeah.
That movie made those.
I know. I just showed E.T. in one of my classes.
Oh, God.
And,
I don't know if I want to hear what you have to say, because it might be heartbreaking. How many of them haven't seen it before?
Oh, there was a good amount that hadn't seen it. There was about 3 that didn't like it.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, that's more than...
It's a heartwarming tale.
Yeah. I was like, you fail this class.
And
you're a sociopath. You should get that checked out.
I rode on the E.T. ride at Universal, and I almost cried.
I have cried on that ride.
I'm not gonna lie, I did.
Do you know that ride will never go away?
Really?
Yes, because
Thank God.
in the early 2000s, they were like, we want to get rid of it. And Steven Spielberg was like, cool, I'm never going to make a movie for Universal ever again. And they were like, okay, we won't. So that ride will never go away.
There was a point that we were on the bikes, and I was with my cousin, and I just tapped her. Like, I just held onto her shoulder for a little bit. She was like, are you okay? And I'm like, that's practical.
Yes,
and
it is.
she was like, okay. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. It's practical.
Yeah.
And she was like, all right, whatever. And I'm just like...
I'm so with you.
Yeah.
One of the students was like, are you going to show us the 84 version or the 2002 CGI enhanced version? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. E.T. came out in 1984, and that's the fucking version that you're going to watch.
I mean, if you had the option to show Star Wars without all the nonsense that got changed, would you?
Of course.
There
That's
you go.
Star Wars.
Yes.
I never wrote this, but I wanted to write a review of the original Star Wars. Like, here it is 40 years later, and here's what I think. Because I found online, there's plenty of places you could find of, like, rips of the original. Mm-hmm. And I realized, like, it's such a different movie. Like, Tatooine is so spare, and it's so quiet. And, like, with all the CGI and the special editions, he turns Tatooine and Mos Eisley into, like, the Mall of America. There's just people fucking walking every which way. And just the cheapness of the original makes it so much darker.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so... I mean, look, I do like some of the things about the 2002. I like that E.T. hops like a bunny. I think that's cute.
I don't know if I saw the 2002 version.
The thing it's famous for is he took out guns. They have guns that they're aiming towards the kids, the FBI agents, and Spielberg took them out because he was like, oh, I regret that. That shouldn't be there. So he replaced their guns with walkie-talkies.
Smart.
Okay. But then there's just more E.T. He actually... To give credit to Spielberg, he had a lot more self-control than, like, Lucas. He just made it look a little better. He made his facial expressions a little bit more expressive. But still, I always go for practical.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. As I was walking around Universal, I realized not only are most of these films by Spielberg, and most of these scores by Williams, which was incredible. I hopped on the bus, and all of a sudden the Jurassic Park theme went on, and I cried. I cried many times at Universal.
You're in a safe place. This is the place where we cry.
Yeah.
I talk about crying in almost every episode.
Yeah.
I cried during the Rise of Skywalker trailer.
Really?
Yeah.
I wish I paid more attention to it, because I tried watching it during work.
Okay.
Sorry if my boss listens to this. Actually, she's totally okay with that. We would have
a
all
huge
huddled
fan of me.
around. Yeah, if I would have brought it up, we would have all huddled around the table and just watched it. Except I sat in the basement and, like, huddled.
Like a little creep.
Yeah.
I think seeing Princess Leia, I think, made me
that was a good moment.
Bit.
Actually, I really loved it when she force jumped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too. That was pretty sick.
I was like, shit, she got it.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, she's there.
She's the fucking best there's ever been. All right.
It gave me chills.
I got chills at the end. All right, this is spoilers, obviously, but I've already talked about this in a former episode. When you hear Palpatine's laugh, I got a chill. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It's Sheev Palpatine.
It's like, shit, he's here.
When I'm on the ET ride, when you go to his planet and you see all the ETs and they're, like, playing drums and stuff, I just want to get off and live there.
I do.
It's like, this is where I want to be.
And it's practical, so you could, and they would always be there.
Yeah.
They wouldn't always be drumming because they might turn it off on time.
No, I would turn it on.
Like, yeah.
I would be like, this is where I live now.
Universal's like, why is our electricity bill more than it was last year? And they're like, someone's living here.
God damn it, there's a nerd living in the E.T. ride again. How many times? Just a long history of nerds breaking into rides.
And they're like, shit, that's the same nerd we kicked out last year.
God damn it, these nerds.
How'd he get in?
You know what? I might cut this out because I think this is $1 million comic idea. Just nerds living in rides.
I'm for it. Well, isn't that like... I don't know, Five Nights at Freddy's is like different. It's like Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, that's like evil Chuck E. Cheese coming to kill you.
Never mind.
All right, let's go back to Hawkeye.
Oh, right. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. This show is all about tangents. Nerd tangents.
Sorry, E.T.'s a little more exciting.
He is. I wish E.T. were an Avenger.
E.T. could be an Avenger. He would heal
people on the battlefield.
There you go. He's your cleric.
He'd be like, ouch, boom.
Yeah.
Ouch, boom. Fixing shit.
Every good team needs a cleric.
Is that a D&D reference?
Yeah, generally.
I don't play D&D.
Mm-hmm.
Do you play D&D?
I feel like you should, yeah.
I should. I'm on, if D&D is like the Macy's Christmas window, I'm like with my nose up against it. Like,
we just had a player leave. Let me talk to my people.
Oh my God, let me in. But I feel like some part of me wonders that I'm not smart enough to play it.
I mean, you could play a character with like -3 intelligence if you want to.
No, not necessarily that, but like the whole mechanics of it. How long did it take you? When did you start playing D&D?
I started playing D&D like 3 years ago.
What was the learning curve?
Oh, it's rough.
That's what I'm worried about.
So the first time I played, I think it was a halfling rogue, but we didn't get too far, so it didn't even matter as much. But then I started playing an arcane trickster, and we jumped in at level 5, and it was rough to get a hang of. Really? If I would have played that character starting at level 1, I think I would have got a hang of it. Mm-hmm. But starting at level 5 for the first time with that kind of character was rough, because I had to work on spells, and there were like abilities that I had a lot of abilities, because that's a utility character.
Are you still playing the same character?
Right now I'm a bard. Her name is Pyrrha.
Okay.
She's useless in combat, but great everywhere else.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And sometimes she'll just like charm an animal to be like, please stop fighting us. And the animal will be like, yeah, sure, whatever, man.
That's very useful.
Yeah.
That's very useful.
And then our rogue will just hit it and I'll be like, yeah, what the fuck? I just did this.
Yeah.
Why? Okay.
Why can't we try love sometimes?
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be what works.
Like, I just named this. Like, this is Tony. How dare you murder my friend?
That's
he's
like
gonna hit us now.
That's like the Rick and Morty where Morty has the baby alien and he's like, I'm gonna call it, and Rick's like, no, don't name it. Oh damn, he named it. Now you're attached to it. I just read Art in Arcana, which is a sort of, it's history book, but it's also like a big collection of all the art from the whole thing. So like I said, like I'm a fan of it but never played it.
You should.
I never had nerdy friends as a kid. I don't know. I didn't have
it's
a
like
lot of friends as a
thing,
kid.
Apparently. I got lucky.
You did?
Yeah. I found nerd friends on the internet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
I played Overwatch with them. And then they made me join their Discord server, and now we play over Discord.
So you went from Overwatch to analog. You moved backwards. Nice Overwatch patch.
Thank you.
You're wearing a pretty sweet looking denim jacket.
Thank you.
With a lot of patches and enamel pins.
Yeah.
What do we got going on here?
This side is my punk side, which has like some local bands, some theater companies, Rancid's on here, the Bouncing Souls patch, and then this side is all my nerd stuff. So I got like Night Vale and this little pew pew. It's a stormtrooper, and like
nice.
Asbury Park doesn't really count, but you know.
Why do you separate the punk from the nerd?
Personal taste, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just easier to be like, this is the punk side.
Okay.
So that when someone's like, hey, nice patch, I could just look down a little bit and be like, oh, okay, that's the patch he's talking about.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Which happened at, I was loading into a venue the other day and someone was like, yo, sick patch. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. What the fuck am I wearing? And I was like, well, I'm not going to turn all the way to the thing because then he'll know that I need to look. And I was just like,
that's very uncool.
I see my shield pin over here. That means that's the nerd side. He's talking about the Overwatch patch.
Oh, I get it. So it's really an aid for you.
Yeah.
Because it's very uncool to be like, what am I wearing?
Yeah. And it's like, one day, if I ever get tattoos, someone's gonna be like, nice tattoo, and I'm gonna have to be like, fuck, which tattoo are they
Why don't
talking
you have tattoos? You seem like, right now you've got blue hair.
Yeah.
And in the years I've known you, you've had various different color hair.
Actually, it might have been purple when I met you, because that might have been the year I started liking Hawkeye.
And you were like purple for Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So what? You seem like a person that would have tattoos.
They cost a lot of money, and I'm afraid of needles.
They don't hurt. I'm sure you've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
Where people say they don't hurt, but it really doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I want one like right here. Fallout Boy.
That might hurt.
Yeah.
Because that's
yeah, of course.
that's
Thanks.
a very sensitive area.
Yeah.
And it's not that fatty. If you the most painful areas are like the ankle and like the wrist, because there's just bones.
Yeah. No
But
thanks.
I have my TARDIS on my bicep, and
That's a sick looking
that
TARDIS.
didn't feel like anything. Thank you. I'm so proud of my TARDIS.
It's a good looking TARDIS.
Yeah. The next thing I want is also like on my forum. I want the Ghostbuster symbol.
Nice. That's very you.
Yeah. I feel like they should all be like a part of you, like Horcruxes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, all right. So
Dyed my hair purple for Hawkeye. That was supposed to be my segue.
yes. Listen, don't try to direct this show. It's off the rails. It's off the rails. I still feel like. Well, all right. Let's say you're talking to somebody who's like, I want to get into Hawkeye. What do you tell them? This is the place to start. Read this first.
I throw them Matt Fraction's version of Hawkeye because it's very accessible.
Matt Fraction is a writer.
Yes.
Because that name sounds like he is a superhero.
It really does. Well,
Matt
you know what?
Fraction.
He is a superhero because he made Hawkeye popular. His version of Hawkeye is a very popular version, and it's for a good reason.
Why? What's the good reason?
So you open up the first page, and there's this dude in a tracksuit that's like beating up a dog.
Uh-huh.
And Clint just walks up to him. He's like, "Yo, nice dog. The guy, can I pet it?" He's like, he bite. And he's like, he doesn't bite. Whatever. Here's some pizza, dog. And he feeds the dog pizza, and then he takes the dog home. And now he's Pizza Dog. And if
That's the
that's
name of the
not
dog?
accessible, well, no, it's not. Well, okay. So the fan base refers to him as Pizza Dog because it's just a real good name.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
But I think he went with Arrow in the end.
Okay. That's
Which
kind of
I think
lame
was
for
a-
Hawkeye to call it Arrow.
Well, I think it was a jab at Arrow because I think that was just becoming a show at the time.
Oh, I see. So this Matt
DC
Fraction
just made the
comic-
show at the time. I think.
Right. So this comic started when then? Like 2000?
I think it was 2015.
15?
Around then.
Was that before or after the first Avengers movie?
Way after.
So your love of him began
Afterwards.
after the movie?
Yeah, I was a Cap girl.
You're wearing Captain America earrings right now.
I am.
Are you no longer a Cap girl?
I'm still. He's still up there. He's my number one because he's the only one who I could find merchandise for.
He certainly is. He certainly is. Since you bring up Arrow, I'm now wondering, and I don't know this, a lot of times in the history of DC and Marvel, like one's copying the other, like Deadpool was a sort of, in a sort of fun way, like Deadpool's like a copy of Deadshot. And I'm wondering, is there a connection historically between Green Arrow and Hawkeye?
There probably is. I don't know.
You don't know? That's fine. You don't have to know everything.
I'm not a DC person, but I know that like Ms. Marvel, they waited for that name. didn't
Yeah. Let's go back to you not being a DC person. What about
they?
Superman?
This is therapy.
What about Superman?
Yeah, he's a little lame. He gets beat by a rock.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, wait. I can't sit here and say
Wow.
Hawkeye's my favorite character and then say Superman is lame because of a rock, right?
Not that. I just feel like, how can you love Cap so much and not Superman? They're just as lame. They're just as Boy Scouts. They're just as goody-goody.
Yeah, they're the goody-goody and all that. It's just like his downfall is a rock. Is my
What
big
rock?
thing.
What rock are you talking about?
Kryptonite.
Oh, come on. It is radiation from his home planet.
His home planet should make him stronger.
No, his home planet, if he were on his home planet, he would, I don't know how it works. But anyway, he only is super because he's here. Because our sun, the yellow sun of Earth, gives him powers. So it removes his powers.
I guess.
Whoa.
He's a bit Greek gaudy, which is pretty cool.
I mean, Captain America is
It's just
propaganda.
he's just a guy from Brooklyn.
He's a propaganda
He's totally
character.
propaganda, though. Yeah, which like really sucks. But at the same time, like he punches Nazis, which
He
is
sure
pretty
does.
cool.
He sure does.
And like, tell me that's not cool.
How did
as opposed to a guy who gets beat by a rock.
All right, you know,
Rock, paper, scissors is a really hard game for him. It's rough.
he plays kryptonite paper scissors with Lois over who gets to take out the garbage. He's never been beat by a rock. He's only sometimes like slowed down by a rock, or if it's like there are special kryptonites like green.
Just like relatable. There's a rock in my
kryptonite.
shoe. I'm also running a little bit slower.
All right. What about when there's a snake in your boot?
Then I just like pull the string again for it to say something else.
Oh, okay.
Ride like the wind, bullseye.
All right. So, I'm sorry. I'm so taken aback by your. That
I have very specific
80
feelings.
80 years of comic book continuity, and your takeaway for Superman is a rock.
Yes. And
Not
my
even
takeaway
like
for Cap is
he was
punches
killed by a
Nazis.
stupid character like Doomsday, who was a terrible character. Not even that. How did you feel a couple years ago when in the comics they did a storyline where Captain America like was a Hydra agent and he was evil and he was a fascist?
It was a thing that I didn't read because I wasn't interested. Like, I really wasn't into hearing about that kind of life.
People were very upset.
And understandably so. That's like, it undoes a lot of what he is.
Yeah.
No.
In the first issue of Jessica Jones, he's like doing something shady, like having an affair with somebody or whatever, and she in the comic book Jessica Jones, a lot of her private investigation stuff has to do with like more Marvel-y stuff. So she's like taking pictures of him like walking in and out of like some lady's apartment.
Okay, like weird, but okay.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because you're like, oh, there's a weird dark side of Cap I don't know about. What are your feelings on there's a new Disney Plus show of Vision and Wanda?
I find that to be a bit weird, but that's only because it popped out of nowhere in the cinematic universe.
Yeah,
so,
they just kind of rammed them in.
Yeah, they just kind of like steamrolled right past everything, and they were like, "Here, suddenly they're in love," and it's like, "What?"
Yeah, and they're like super in love, and we're supposed to really care about it.
Like marriage?
Yeah.
Is that what they just?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like Stone, and then it's just like, oh well, there's that.
That movie, Infinity War, really asks us to
forgive things.
It asks us to really care about their relationship. And I'm like, you haven't earned this. I don't care. I don't care at all about this relationship.
That's how I also
and where's your accent? What happened to your accent?
But that's also what I felt about Bruce and Natasha. It's like, I wish if this would have been initiated sooner in the cinematic universe, I might have been okay with it.
Okay.
But the fact that it came up out of nowhere, how many movies in? Just, I felt cheated.
Yeah. Especially because these movies are all like 9 hours each. So like, lay down the groundwork.
Also, Vision just pops up.
Yeah.
Like, there's no introduction to Vision. He's just here. And you're like, oh, that guy's gonna beat the thing. And then he does. And you're just like, well,
yeah,
we're all good now.
Everything's great. Thanks for coming to see Age of Ultron.
Tune in next time when we do the same thing where we just very suddenly make characters have backstories.
Yeah.
That we didn't explain.
Yeah, Age of Ultron it really feels like this is one to skip. Like, we really could have just skipped this one.
I actually audibly yelled no in the theater a couple of times during Ultron.
No!
The first time they did the Bruce and Natasha thing, I went, absolutely not, pointing at the screen. Which, like, granted,
no.
I was not in a theater where, like, people gave a shit about talking because there was literally a toddler behind me screaming and kicking my chair the whole time.
Oh, my God.
So I was already not interested. So not only to be watching a movie that I wasn't totally enjoying, but to also have that kind of experience. So now I only go to Alamo Draft
Why didn't you
House.
move?
Because it was my cousins, and, like, we need 3 seats, and it's just, like, too much.
It was your cousin's baby?
No. They were behind. Whoever these kids were behind me. They had a kid in a stroller with them.
That's inappropriate.
I don't know.
That's too young. It's too young for a motion picture.
Yeah, so now I only go to Alamo Draft House because I enjoy that kind of respect. I have no worries in the world whenever I go. And, like, when I went to go see Miss Marvel, someone was asking a question, but it was related to the movie, and I was like,
Sure.
I'm not going to raise a card. They're enjoying the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, eating my burger, watching Captain Marvel, not
What
Miss
kind of
Marvel.
burger did you get?
Whichever one's I don't remember. I just write it down.
Do you ever get the cookies?
Oh my God, they're they're so good.
The
They're so
cookies are very
expensive, but they're
good.
so good.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of their it sounds gross, but they have like a kale bowl that's like very healthy and
Sorry,
like,
you can't see the face that I just made.
but it tastes very good. It's very tasty.
Okay.
And then it gets you all set and ready for the cookies that are gonna come.
True. Okay.
Yeah,
Their wings are good.
I've never had their wings. I'm a vegan.
Is this new?
No, I've been a vegetarian for like 3
Vegetarian,
years.
I know.
I've
Oh,
only
yeah.
been a vegan for like 6 months.
Okay.
I finally gave up
luck.
the cheese. Finally gave it up.
I'm lactose intolerant, so that was the first thing I gave up.
Good
but
for
I'm not
you.
vegan, so.
Good for you. I do miss wings sometimes. Although sometimes there are places that'll like take cauliflower and just bread it and fry it.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, because you know what? That's all you want anyway.
And then you
that's
don't.
the part you
yeah,
want.
that's weird. That is the part. Well, you just want the sauce.
Yeah, and the breading and the fat.
Yeah.
There's some book that like foodie people read. I haven't read it, but it's called like I think it's called like Sugar, Fat, Salt, and it basically makes everyone like those are the only things you like. That's the only thing that tastes good: sugar, fat, and salt.
I mean, yeah.
So when something goes fat-free, just know that it's gonna have a lot of sugar and salt.
Yeah. And like it's also going to be weird in texture.
Yeah, yeah.
And like avoiding it is not going to change anything unless like you have to avoid it for medical reasons. Like
Yeah.
avoiding it for dietary reasons is just not really beneficial.
Yeah, yeah. So, would you cry if Hawkeye died in the film? Now, this is coming out after the film came out, so maybe he did. I don't know.
If he did die, I can tell you that I bawled in the movie theater for at least 10 minutes. If he doesn't die, I'm probably still going to bawl for 10 minutes or so because I'm going to see Kate Bishop.
Do you think she's... What extent is we going to see her in it?
I'm not sure, but I'm also very much hoping that the cinematic universe does not make her his daughter. Please don't make her related to him.
Why?
Because I love that mentor relationship that isn't father-daughter.
Uh-huh.
It's very... This guy's kind of an asshole. I'm going to go stick around with him for a little bit and learn what I need. Yeah.
See, just hearing you describe Hawkeye, it sounds like his character in the comics is funny and interesting, and I feel like he's none of that in the movies.
Exactly.
I don't think he cracks one joke.
He's cracked a few quiet ones. You have to like actually listen to him. If you like,
No, when he comes on screen, I just go to sleep.
I figured so. Yeah. I mean, that's most people, right? They're just like, was Hawkeye even in that movie? And I'm like, yeah, like a little cameo.
Yeah. His new haircut looks
He
great.
wasn't credited. His new haircut. Whew. Boy.
Maybe his...
The haircut with the tattoos, I was like,
Get you going,
I'm
huh?
very interested in this movie. If I wasn't
Relevant to
already
your-
interested in Hawkeye being in this movie, I am much more interested now that Hawkeye is in this movie.
All right, so that leads me into my next question, which was, do you think Jeremy Renner is a good Hawkeye or a bad Hawkeye?
Hard to tell because they don't give enough screen time.
But I wonder if it were somebody else, he would have taken off more in the public.
His time spent on talk shows, like he did, I think it was Fallon, he made like a whole song about being Hawkeye, and I'm just like, that's actually pretty good. That's very Hawkeye-esque. And he also sat down and read through the comics for his role, and I'm just like,
Wow, that's a lot of work
it
for
is.
very little screen time.
Exactly.
What a
But,
dedicated man.
yeah. I have a lot of respect for Renner as Hawkeye. I also respect that he doesn't have to wear the stupid glasses.
What
Which
are the
in Blind
glasses?
Spot, they handed him the glasses because he went blind for a little bit. And then they integrated it into his
How did he go
costume.
blind?
Part of his brain started swelling. He got hit in Russia. I think it was related to his brother. It's a whole thing.
All right, who's Goliath?
For a temporary amount of time, Hawkeye was Goliath.
And Goliath had powers.
Well, Goliath is whoever has Pym's spectral stuff, the thing that makes you get big, right? Is that just any character who has had that, or is that just?
Oh, is that what he had? The I could go bigger, smaller situation.
So he goes big for a little bit. The
Oh,
same
so he's,
thing
like, literally
that
a
happens with
Goliath.
Ant-Man,
Yeah. Okay.
which like he had a brief stint with Wasp.
Did he?
Yeah.
He sounds like the real man slut of the Marvel universe.
It's kind of why I like him. He's like such a dick.
He that dickiness doesn't come off in.
It really doesn't.
No.
But he's like a sarcastic. I'll let you borrow this.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
What comic? So which comic is this that you've brought?
I
to look
brought Blind Spot with me because it covers a lot of his origin. You could borrow that.
McCain, Diaz, Dragata, DeLandro. Those are your writers and artists. I'm just gonna.
It's like the whole collection, so I also don't even really care about condition when it comes back. Like, I'm not a condition kind of person.
Well, that's very good of you, but I'm very good with things. I'm as a nerd, I know how to like respect a book.
Yeah. The only thing is I will never let go of my Matt Fraction comics.
Sure. His outfit does look pretty stupid here.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's very like
it's the original
superhero-y. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but I wonder if they had that in the movies, we'd respect him more. Because he just looks like a guy. He's a guy who's around. He just
looks like a guy. Which is kind of the part that I respect about him a lot, is that he's just an average guy who has to work harder than most of the Avengers to be an Avenger. And so does Black Widow. She's just a gal who has to work harder than all the rest of the Avengers to be an Avenger.
Yet she seems to be...
It comes a little more naturally to her.
And she seems to be more liked by the fans.
Yes.
But they also give her more to do.
They give her more to do, and it also helps that a lot of young women can also see themselves in a group of Avengers. She's someone who people who don't normally have people to relate to on a screen can relate to. Which, like, especially with the young Avengers, if they go, like, and diversify it, it would be incredible for the cinematic universe, because people can have people they can relate to.
Is this a flashback?
This is a flashback.
I can tell because it's sepia tone.
Yeah.
All right. If you were...
That's Coney Island. Sorry.
So you're a filmmaker, too?
Kind of.
Well, you studied film.
I studied film.
And you've worked
I have
on
a degree
films.
in it.
Yes. So if you could make...
No, I played music.
Same thing. If you could play... if you could make a Hawkeye movie, write it, direct it, cast it, what would it be? What would it be based on? Unfold this for me, if you will. It
would be a miniseries. It wouldn't be a movie, I think.
It wouldn't be a movie.
No.
Okay.
I think it would be a miniseries.
Disney Plus with this, or
yeah, Disney Plus. Which, like, I really hope Disney Plus does the Clint and Kate, because they are just so good with their back and forth. Like, their banter is usually good. Like, every comic you pick up, they're great. Especially Deadpool versus Hawkeye. She walks in and she's dressed as Hawkeye from MASH.
Okay. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I didn't even realize it until, like, later on, and I'm like, why does she have a stethoscope around? And I was like, fucking Hawkeye.
That's very clever.
Which I love that Hawkeye too.
I wonder if one of the reasons why he gets the short end of the stick in the cinematic universe is dialogue is not as important in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
You know, it really isn't, and that is his strong suit. Right,
because that's what a real character has.
Yeah.
Other than Deadpool, who's not in the cinematic universe, none of the characters are like, oh, you know. I guess maybe Iron Man 1, they really characterized him well, but, like, it's not like...
And the comic that I'm letting you borrow, like, it's not really his style of dialogue either. That's just his origin, mostly. Plus the blind spot stuff, which is pretty cool.
So...
is seeing a blind archer.
Would you...
instead of a deaf archer, which he usually is.
Wait, deaf?
Yeah.
When is he deaf?
I think he's deaf in one ear, maybe both. Especially Deadpool versus Hawkeye, they show, they make very big note of it, where he actually, like, asks some of the kids to, like, pick up their masks because it's Halloween. He's like, sorry, I can't read your lips. I don't know what you're saying. So, like, the kids have to pull up their masks, and, like, Deadpool has his mask off a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah. And there's a part where Deadpool puts his mask down. This might be a spoiler. And, like, he says something. And then he pulls it back up and he goes, "We agreed?"
I love Deadpool. I can't help but read Deadpool in Ryan Reynolds' voice.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely him.
Yeah. That might be the best casting ever.
So I found out that there was actually a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie. I had no idea, because I started reading that book. It's a book that I have picked up and put down many times and have never finished, but I always read in Martin Freeman's voice. Turns out they fucking casted Martin Freeman, and I'm just like, wow, damn. That was
well done.
That was well done.
I think
he was casted in my brain, and he was there. I should be a casting director.
All right, so who would you keep, Renner, or in your Hawkeye miniseries, who would you cast as Hawkeye? Anybody living or dead, any actor of any era you can have.
Well, Ryan Reynolds is taken as a smartass. for Deadpool.
He is taken.
So I think Renner could do it.
What about Kate?
Kate Bishop would be tough. I think Brie Larson would actually do a good job if like we gave her a wig. Like Kate Bishop usually has dark hair and like
we could just dye it.
Yeah.
Black Widow
I'm
changed her hair all the time.
I'm cast me.
Wow. This is a lot about you. No, but
I mean, I've had that kind of mentorship where like you look up to the person who's just a snarky person and you're just like, I like that person, I'm gonna stick with them.
Yeah. All right, so thank you for being here. As we wrap up, if possible, I would like you when I first asked you to be on the show, I said prepare like a TED talk about Hawkeye. You don't need a whole TED talk, but what would be your pitch? Like, what would be like for the people listening to the show that are like, I don't like Hawkeye, what would you tell them to be like, no?
I would tell them, if you don't like Hawkeye, what you need to do is you need to forget everything you've ever watched, and you need to pick up one of his comic books, could be any book, and just read it. That is my TED talk. That is my entire TED talk. I don't need a TED talk longer than that. He will speak for himself.
Okay. People at home couldn't see you did put on one of those little microphones hanging from your ear.
Yes, I did.
And you are wearing all black. All right.
I am. Well, that's always prepared.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to attempt your name again.
Thank you for having me.
Melissa Licciardello.
Hey, there it is. It's long in Italian. It's whatever. Oh, you know Italian.
My name is very Italian as well. Buongiorno. Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Actually, it's pretty nighttime.
Yeah, good day, actually. People say that to me all the time. And every time I'm like, yep, you're the first person who thought of that one.
Yep.
Does your name mean anything?
Of the weaving loom, which kind of makes sense because I had people who like had a weaving business in my family.
So that's where it came from.
Maybe they just were like, this is my name now. This is what I do with my name.
Maybe my family had a lot of like very polite people that greeted people.
They were just like, what's your name? And they were like, buongiorno. And it's like, oh, that's your name. Hi, buongiorno.
Yeah.
And they were just like too polite to correct them.
Yeah. I come from very polite people.
Yeah, they were just trying to say hello and now it's their name.
Give me all right, where can the people find you? Give me a nice fat plug.
I'm Mellimusic, MELLIMUSIC, everywhere on the internet. And if that's not it, then you can find me by my band, which is At The Ready, which is usually At The Ready Band. So there's
Fantastic. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've turned out to be a great human being. And I'm going to be honest, I take a lot of credit for that.
Well, thanks.
I don't care about anyone else in your life. I feel like as your hero, you've really, I take full credit for everything you've done.
I will say it one more time. The highlight of my entire film career, one of the highlights of my entire film career was being able to just sit down in the class and you were just like, hey class, so there's a new Star Wars trailer that came out last night and everyone just perked their heads up and you were just like, so we're going to watch it on the big screen, right? And we were all just like, absolutely, sign me the fuck up.
Yeah, I was happy to do that. I just did that again with Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here so much. We're going to go bye-bye.
Bye.
Go bye-bye.